2 people out of tens of thousands, okay? And you get bad publicity.
Brother, you guys put a new rule in the rule book that allows you to literally deport someone for being suspected of committing a crime, any crime, with the Lake and Riley Act. What the f*** do you mean? Just 2 people in the process of deporting people. Come on, give me a break. Let me kill a couple people. Come on, guys. What's your expectation? I kill 0 Americans? No, I got to kill a couple. And now it's bad PR. The very fact, and there's an extended interview with Donald Trump, which is a really interesting interview. But the very fact that Donald Trump is seemingly retreating from this is because they have listened to your cries. Remember, the drawback of 700 federal agents from Minneapolis is utterly irrelevant when you consider that 3,000 agents were sent there. Okay? This is a symbolic retreat, I think, in an effort to try to shift the attention away from Minneapolis while continuing its anti-immigrant operations en masse. It's completely insane. And yeah, I mean, we're still on ice. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is obviously doing its very best to capitulate to the interests of the administration for some weird reason. Well, I think we know what the weird reason is that they are the controlled opposition party. People on the ground from Minneapolis are reporting that ICE is still fully operational, and they're still conducting their anti-immigrant deportation schemes. So I think this is a switcheroo to stop you from paying attention. Now, of course, the main issue here is that the Trump administration has heard your protests and is frustrated by them and is worried by them. But the Democrats are not seizing on this opportunity because they're the controlled opposition party. That's the problem. Now let's take a look at this interview.
From our nation's capital, where today we sat down exclusively with President Trump at this extremely pivotal moment in his second term. The president making a number of headlines discussing everything from the midterm elections to the economy to his administration's handling of the immigration crackdown. Telling me what he learned from Minneapolis and about where ICE officers could head next. And with the affordability crisis impacting so many Americans right now, you'll hear what he said about when to expect economic relief. I also asked him point blank about this moment with Fed Chair Jerome Powell and if his Justice Department would drop the investigation into Powell. And as the Republican Party faces growing pressure ahead of the midterms, what he said about the possibility of 2028 and the presidential ticket possibly featuring on the Republican side Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Plus, we pressed him on what those FBI agents were looking for when they raided an election office in Georgia. And his warning tonight to Iran's supreme leader after that country's deadly protest crackdown. Also, the surprising response when asked about his relationship with former President Bill Clinton. During our talk, the president pointing out ongoing construction on the White House ballroom, what he said about bulletproof windows and drone-proof ceilings being installed, and if he ever worries about his own safety, plus what he told me about his personal health. But we start with the major breaking news out of Minneapolis tonight. Tom Homan announcing he's pulling hundreds of federal officers out of Minnesota, and that's where our conversation begins. Okay, let's drill down into the news today. That big change on immigration, 700 officers leaving Minneapolis. Did that come from you?
Yes, it did. But it didn't come from me because I just wanted to do it. We are waiting for them to release prisoners, give us the murderers that they're holding, and all of the bad people, drug dealers, all of the bad people. We allowed in our country, I say 25 million people with an open border policy for 4 years under Biden and that group, the auto pen group, I call them. We allowed to come into our country people the likes of which no country would accept, and we're getting them out. Yeah. But we've gotten a lot of them out. So crime now in Minnesota, crime now in Minneapolis is down. Crime in all cities is down. And you know why it's down? It's down because of us. It's down in Chicago by 25%, despite the fact that we are always dealing with these people, and they happen to be Democrats, that don't know anything about crime prevention.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals. But look, I've called the people, I've called the governor, I've called the mayor, spoke to them, had great conversations with them, and then I see them ranting and raving out there, literally as though a call wasn't made. We've done a great job everywhere. The only place there's been a little inflammation has been really, it's not Minnesota, because we've done well with
Los Angeles, too. There's been others. Yeah.
Well, I saved Los Angeles. The top law enforcement officer, right at the beginning of my time when they were having riots, before me and it carried into me. If I didn't go in there with the National Guard, with troops, you wouldn't have the Olympics, which I got. I got the Olympics. You wouldn't have the Olympics in Los Angeles. And he said, without the president sending in the troops, we would have lost Los Angeles. Yeah. And you know what? I saved Los Angeles. And we will do it again if we have to. And by the way, we're going to have a very safe Olympics.
Insane.
And we're going to have a very safe World Cup.
Speaking of Minneapolis, after the shooting of Renee Good, you said ICE made some mistakes. What were the mistakes?
Well, look, I'm not happy with the two incidents. It's not, it's both of them, not one or the other. He was not an angel, and she was not an angel. You look at some tapes from back, but still, I'm not happy with what happened there. Nobody could be happy, and ICE wasn't happy either. But I'm going to always be with our great people.
Bro, American fascism has evolved to a degree where they are unironically looking at a white lady and a white man and treating them like a black teenager. I never thought we would get to this point, okay? Let's keep it $150 here, guys. The "he was no angel" is like a famous application, a postmortem application for police shootings involving black teenagers. Michael Brown was no angel, right? That's where it was most famously used. And now, even if you're a white guy opposing the administration, you are also getting hit with the no angel territory. It's incredible.
Law enforcement, ICE, police, we have to back them. If we don't back them, we don't have a country. If we don't back them, you're going to end up, look, Washington, D.C. was a very unsafe place to be. You couldn't walk to the White House. You couldn't walk to a restaurant. Restaurants were closing. I inherited not only a mess with the country, I inherited a horrible, very dangerous capital. Do you know Washington, D.C. is now an extremely safe place? You see what happened. You're here a lot.
When you mentioned Renee Good,
let me ask you, Tom.
Yeah.
You're here a lot.
Yeah.
Would you have walked down the street a year and a half ago with your family? No. But today you can, and nothing's going to...
Come on, man. Just say yes, bro. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Happen.
You mentioned Renee Good and not out and Alex.
Don't skip that, man. What do you mean? No, Washington, D.C. wasn't walkable until you fucking put the National Guard down? That's crazy.
Freddie's not being angels. Do you think any of that justified what happened to them, though?
No, I don't. It should have not happened. It was a very sad, to me, it was a very sad incident, two incidents. And, they mentioned the one now, they don't mention the other. Well, I think they were both sad. And you know who feels worse about it than anybody? The people of ICE. They're strong,
the people of
tough
ICE.
People. And they have to be tough because we're dealing with hardened criminals.
Right.
We're dealing with people. Jails have been emptied into our country from all over the world, from Venezuela, where we had great success, you will admit, but from Venezuela, from the Congo in Africa, from all over the world. The jail population was emptied into our country. If we don't have strong people,
why conduct an interview if you're not going to actually push back? What are we doing here? Stop him and say, what do you mean, Mr. President? Do you have any evidence for it, Mr. President? Where's the evidence that jails are releasing their criminals into the nation's boundaries, Mr. President? Like, what the man? This isn't CBS. I thought NBC was supposed to be less compliant.
You're not getting them out.
Yeah.
And we're getting them out. Remember this, again, I say it again and again. We have record low crime in the United States. Nobody's been able to say that for 125 years.
So I want to be clear, because it sounds like there is a shift in immigration enforcement here, that there's going to be a shift after Minneapolis. What should Americans expect going forward?
Well, one thing I say to my people, we do a good job, we don't get credit for it. I say they have to ask and they have to say please. When a city is
who has to ask and who has to say please?
The mayor or the governor, I don't want to go and force ourselves into a city, even if their numbers are terrible. Like, for instance, I got a call from Jeff Landry, governor of Louisiana. He said, we have a big problem. Could you go in and help us with well, let's see, certain sections. I mean, to be honest with you, certain sections of the state, beyond their famous, beautiful city, certain sections of the state. We have done, not only in New Orleans, we've done a really great job in Louisiana, but I was called. I want to be called. Chicago, we could solve the Chicago crime.
Well, on that question, which cities are you headed to next?
We have 5 cities that we're looking at very strongly, but we want to be invited. We will sometimes call the governors. And
are
say,
they cities like Chicago, Philadelphia? Are these the cities?
We could straighten out the crime in Chicago. We've already brought it down 25% just by being there. We could have Chicago be a safe city, just like D.C. is a safe city, just like all of these places that we've gone to. And I look forward. You know, I didn't campaign on that. I campaigned on law and order, but I didn't think I'd be going into individual cities and making them safe.
Anything else you can tell us about the 5 cities? The 5 cities, anything else? So Americans are ready?
We'll be announcing them very quickly, but we could do something. As an example, I was called by people. San Francisco said, please, we have a Democrat mayor. He's trying very hard. Would you, friends of mine that live there, it's got crime problems. Would you let him do the job and not come in? Let's see how it works. I said, look, I can do it much quicker, much faster. Don't forget, we remove criminals. We took over 2,000 hardcore criminals out of Washington, D.C.
Every criminal removal that has taken place has happened within the prison system. ICE does not go out, conduct investigations into crimes, and process like criminal warrants or anything like that. At most, they will try to go to local jails and get people who are charged, not convicted, charged with a crime. But as far as like actual convicted criminals, yeah, they get them from the prison because that's where convicted criminals are, in prison.
If we didn't do that, 2% of the people create 90% of the crime. Think of that, 2%. So you have a criminal, because it's over and over again, 2% create 90% of the crime. We took out 2,000 people, more than 2,000 people out of Washington, D.C., and we now have a safe city.
You, as I mentioned, you've had success on immigration. Illegal border crossings are at historic lows, right?
You know, it's so nice that you said that.
But if you look at the...
Tom, what you just said.
It's true.
No, but it's so nice. I hope you air it. It's so nice what you said, because that's called good reporting. That's called fair reporting. Now give me the second part.
Now let me give you the second part of the question. But if you look at the polls, most Americans say they don't like how you've handled immigration, right? Especially what's happened in Minneapolis. How do you change their minds?
Well, I don't believe the polls, for one thing, because how can you not handle... I saw a poll on the border where I'm at 55%, okay?
The polls show that Americans aren't against the deportations. It's the handling of immigration.
You know, polls, it depends on the way you ask the question. I saw a poll on the border. I'm at 55%. Well, how could I only be at 55% when everybody agrees that the border is totally, beautifully closed and nobody's coming in unless they come in legally, et cetera. It couldn't be better. I should be at 100%. I don't believe the polls. And some polls...
I should be at 100%. I should be at a 100% approval rating on the border. He wants to be a dictator so bad, dude. Not to get like real libbed up here, but there's honestly no other way to interpret this. This truly puts into this truly puts into proper framing his like genuine admiration for Vladimir Putin and shit. I've often wondered what it's like why authoritarian leaders do like silly things to make themselves appear a certain way as though they are beloved by large majorities of the population, if not the damn near entirety of the population. And I'm seeing it. It's just like so petty. It's so stupid. You are not tapped into the conservative mind virus like you used to be.
I mean, I could show you polls where I'm polling at 69% popularity, and some polls where I have one at...
We'll ask the White House to share that with us. Yeah.
71%. And then I have polls where I'm at 44% and 42%. The polls are almost dishonest, almost as dishonest as some of the reporters themselves.
Yeah.
But I'm getting very good polls. I'm getting very good polls on crime prevention, on law and order, and on the border. I have to. And I'm starting to get great polls on the economy, which I think
the
is our
polls on the
biggest
economy
success.
they're not great.
They should be great.
They should be. So
People
why aren't they?
don't know.
If you believe that,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, I've got
Americans tell us, we hear this. I mean, we're going to get into the economy later, but I mean, they tell us they don't feel it.
Just so you understand.
Yeah.
I have $18 trillion being invested into the country. Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years,
but
and the whole country was going to credit. You know
when does America feel it?
You know that if they won that election, and we won in a landslide, you know if they won that election, this country was, I think it was finished. I actually think it was finished. You would have had people, instead of 18 coming in, 18 trillion, you would have had $10 trillion leaving. I think our country, I think we would have been Venezuela on steroids.
I have a question about immigration still looking forward now. Your goal during the election was to deport everyone who came here illegally under President Biden. Is your mission now to deport everyone who came in illegally or just people who have come in illegally who have also committed additional crimes?
We are totally focused on criminals, really bad criminals. Now, you could say people that came in illegally are criminals, but I'm talking about murderers from different countries. We have 11,888 murderers that Biden and his group led into our country. We've captured a lot of them. We've brought some of them back.
It's so funny. Like, every part of the immigration conversation that happens on the mainstream, on both sides, is just built around whatever lie Donald Trump is claiming. Okay? Once again, this is an abject lie. Okay? It's just made up. The idea that, like, ICE is actually tackling crimes of this sort is a lie. The idea that, like, Biden didn't actually criminally prosecute, Biden's DOJ didn't criminally prosecute murderers if they're undocumented immigrants is, like, such a laughable lie that I don't even know how to describe it. Like, if you truly believe that, you have the brain of a baby. Actually, even a baby would be like, goo goo gaga, I saw Paw Patrol. I'm pretty sure if you're a criminal, like, you're going to jail, right? Doesn't really matter. And despite the fact that this is this lie requires you to not have object permanence, this lie requires you to have the brain of a child, many Americans seemingly have that brain. And I think it's a massive problem with mainstream media that they don't, like, address Trump's ridiculous statements here. Okay? There's no world where, like, mainstream media goes, wait a minute, Mr. President, you're saying that, like, Joe Biden released criminals into the wild when these criminals happen to be of immigrant background? Like, just simply asking for evidence, is that too much? Can we just ask for evidence?
A lot of them we don't want to bring back because we don't trust the country that they're not sent back again.
Yeah.
Despite how strong the borders are,
Yeah.
they'll figure
He
a
just
way to
keeps
try
saying,
and
yeah.
get in, and we don't want to, and we'll incarcerate them. But 11,888 murders.
Yeah.
We are after those people. We're after the drug dealers.
Right.
We're after we are after, by the way, a big problem, they allowed to come into our country.
Yeah, right. Might as well say, yeah, base, brother. What is this? Is this a Asmongold interviewing the president? Like, what's happening here? Yeah, based.
People from their mental institutions, people from insane asylums.
Your company is tanking, bro. Please get back to the office and stop this vacation. Who are you talking to? What is this a reference to? I don't even understand. Are you talking about Donald Trump? Oh, you work at Amazon. Yeah, that's true. Amazon is tanking. My vacation? Bitch, what vacation? That's so funny. I'm literally currently I'm working. This is what I would be doing at home, and I'm doing it here instead.
That are mentally ill and very dangerous. We're getting them out.
Joe Rogan was one of your biggest endorsers in 2024. He said
oh my God, even this is stupid, but whatever. This will get clicks though.
Understands that Trump's, the president's sort of plan to...
For the record, chatter, people are telling you to take your meds on YouTube. Hey, dog. Hey, big dog, where'd you get that sick shirt? Clayton Swisher gifted it to me. Are you guys hiring at your work? No.
People here who are here illegally. But he also understands why critics compare ICE officers to the Gestapo asking people for their papers.
What's your response to him?
Well, look, first of all, he's a great guy. We had a tremendous success before the election. I think it was his biggest interview ever, and over 300 million people. It was very good. She didn't want to do it, you know. She decided not to do it because she's not capable. But I spoke to him 3 days ago. We had a great conversation. And all I'm doing, I have to keep.
Did he mention this to you? Did you guys talk about this? The ICE enforcement?
Yeah. Just had a good conversation. I think he's a great guy, and I think he likes me too.
Yeah.
And, you know, liking me isn't important. What happens is that I think we do a phenomenal job, but I don't think we're good at public relations.
What does that mean? You've said that a couple times now. What do you mean by that?
We don't sell the great job that we're doing. Look, we have the safest country.
Is that your staff, or those your staffers?
Excuse me, people from your persuasion, somewhat left, to a job on numbers. It just came out that in 125 years, we have the safest country. The best crime numbers since the year 1900.
That's a stat. Yeah, we know
that
it's
was
true.
Way before my father was born.
Right.
Think of that. And yet, then you talk about crime, or you talk about this, or you talk about that, and the poll numbers aren't that good. People, we don't do a good public relations job. That's why I'm doing the interview with you today.
We appreciate
I'm trying to help my people, you know, PR, public relations.
I will say Donald Trump has diminished. I do legitimately believe that his brain processing power has gotten worse. Like, this is a reduced Trump. His interviewing skills are worse in general. He rambles even more than he used to, and he used to ramble quite a bit. There is definitely a Brandonization taking place here.
Speaking of your people, you're never afraid to shake up your team. You've said that you're okay with shaking up your team. Do you still believe in Kristi Noem to deliver on your vision of immigration?
Look, she was in charge of the border. The border's closed. I mean, everybody gives me A+ on the border. The border was a disaster. People were pouring into our country.
But what about the enforcement?
They don't even try and come up now. You know the beautiful thing? The caravans. I think I came up with that name. Thousands of people, 25, 30,000 people in a group. You know who sent them? Their countries. They sent the people that they didn't want. Not only criminals, people that didn't want to work hard, etc. They know who it is. They sent them into our country. We have nobody coming in anymore. We have very good. You just asked me, Kristi, we have the best crime numbers that we've had in 125 years. I think she's doing a very good job. Again, public relations. She's not getting credit for the job that she does.
Let's move to the economy now.
And excuse me, what is sad, though, and it is, we had the two primary incidents in Minnesota. So,
and you shook up leadership there. You brought Tom Homan in.
Yeah, I did. And Tom is great. Tom is a superstar. But you do thousands of arrests. You arrest thousands of rapists. You arrest thousands of the worst people. You arrest the drug dealers. I mean, we had drug kingpins. We had murderers. Thousands. No incident. We bring them back to their country. Two people. It's bad. I hate it. I hate even talking about it. Two people out of tens of thousands, okay? And you get bad publicity. Nobody talks about all of the murderers that were taken out of our country. They don't talk about...
but it was two Americans.
They don't talk about we have the smallest drug...
Brother, you guys put a new rule in the rule book that allows you to literally deport someone for being suspected of committing a crime, any crime, with the Laken Riley Act. Because Laken Riley was murdered by an undocumented migrant. Was arrested, jailed, and then deported. What the f do you mean? Just two people in the process of deporting people. Come on, give me a break. Let me kill a couple people. Come on, guys. What's your expectation? I kill 0 Americans? No, I got to kill a couple. And now it's bad PR.
As an example, we've been very tough on the waters, and soon, you know, pretty much overall. But if you look at the waters where we knock out boats, each boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. We're doing a job like nobody's ever seen before. I just got to...
Please follow up on that. The administration is currently being sued by the families of the victims. I mean, it'll most likely go nowhere because it's the American government that assassinated them, unfortunately. But he's just... Everything is made up. What the f***, dude? What the hell? Every aspect of this interview, everything that he says is just made up. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to react to it. I don't know what to say, really, because he is just a serial liar. Like, every boat that we blow up leads to 25,000 saved lives. How? Your very own department, your very own drug enforcement agency says that Venezuela is not a narco trafficking hub. The boats that you blew up have don't have the gas tanks to make their way all the way up to the American coastline. These are small fishermen boats, small go-fast boats that are going between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. And you blew them up. You have victims, family members of the victims that are suing the government right now. Do you have any evidence whatsoever that these are boats that are actually trafficking drugs into the United States of America? And if you have evidence, why have you not revealed it? And if this, and someone needs to explain how those boats make their way to the United States of America. And this is before we even talk about international law. There's a proper process here. Is murdering random boaters the appropriate measure to take? Or doesn't the Coast Guard have apprehension techniques beyond lobbing hellfire missiles at random boats or like drone striking random boats from afar? If these are drug traffickers, isn't it more beneficial to actually overtake these boats and apprehend the drug traffickers inside of these boats after conducting a proper investigation? All of these are normal questions that a normal adult should be able to ask the president. I think one of the funniest aspects of this conversation, or the speculation around whether or not he has dementia, is that if he does actually have Alzheimer's or dementia, which I think is likely, for those of you who don't know how Alzheimer's works, I have a lot of people in my family that had Alzheimer's, okay? There is a very funny outcome here. The funniest possible outcome for Alzheimer's, which is a devastating illness, okay? One where your brain stops producing new information or producing new memories. And you're locked into one specific period in time. It would be kind of funny if Donald Trump got locked into the Jeffrey Epstein time period in his brain and his capacity started deteriorating. So he just kept talking about how Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton are his best friends over and over again. That would be hilarious. Okay. Imagine the administration around Donald Trump, all of his staffers consistently trying to get him to shut the fuck up, but he just keeps saying, Jeffrey, you're my best friend. Where's Jeffrey? Where are you, Jeffrey? Jeffy boy, you love them young just like I do. Remember, a best friend is such a mysterious thing. You're a childlike wonder, Jeffrey. I love you just like I love Bilbo Clinton. And you want to know what will happen? I'm locking it right now. This is another one of these crazy predictions that I jokingly make, and then it ends up becoming reality. And it has happened before. Ronald Reagan in his second term was already demented, right? The funniest thing that would happen, or the saddest thing that would happen in the aftermath of this very tragic comedy would be that the American people would still not do anything about it. Okay? Donald Trump comes out and is consistently talking about how he loves sucking Bill Clinton's dick and how he loves Jeffrey Epstein because that's the last time his brain was capable of producing new memories. And then the American people still don't say anything. Yeah, a pal is a wonderful thing and every day is a beautiful mystery. Yeah, a fitting end for the U.S. empire? Yes. I am going to stream snipe you on Saturday, says Chinese Richie Torres. Okay, well, I'm not going to be outside. So how will you do that? Don't be weird. Also, thank you for the 200 gifted. Shout out to Spittin' Litton for the 200 gifted.
On the phone with President Xi, and he is amazed at how well the United States is doing. He said he's never seen anything like it.
You brought the conversation, Mr. President, so let me ask you, what did you talk about with the leader of China?
About a lot of topics. We talked
What's
about
the most important topic? Is it chips? Is it the wars in Ukraine? What is going on?
I would say the economy, the relationship that we have with China, I'm going to be going there in April. Then he's coming here toward the end of the year.
Coming to the White House?
He's coming to the White House, toward the end of the year. We have a very good relationship. And
It's so funny. After I pulled that chatter up, hella YouTube chatters are saying L Twitch chatter. This is not how it is on YouTube. They're talking about how YouTube chatters are not like that.
Numerous times, and I don't think they want to see a shutdown either.
Mr. President, are you going to sue Trevor Noah? Last night in a post, you alluded that something could be coming.
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Jeffrey's Island. My bestie Jeffrey. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight, this guy. He's a terrible. I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. Numerous times.
You spoke it into existence. It's going to happen.
It's important that I have a good relationship, and for him that he has a good relationship with me. We have to have a good. These are the two most powerful countries in the world, and we have a very good relationship.
You talk about tariffs?
We spoke for an hour.
Does he ask you about the tariffs? Is he saying this
well,
is
they're
hurting
paying
us?
a lot of tariffs, as you know. China's paying a lot of tariffs. In the past, they didn't. I'm the one that put tariffs on China.
How does it feel having now different siloed audience reactions to your broadcast with the multi-streaming setup? I don't really like it because I do think it actually eats away at my viewership on Twitch. Because, like, if YouTube was, like, you know, hitting 30K every day, then I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't even mind, like, a little bit of a hit on the viewership on the Twitch side. But now it's very clear that it actually chopped the viewership. It did. If I stream just on YouTube, there's a likelihood that I get 40K on YouTube. If I stream just on Twitch, I get 40K on Twitch. If I chop it into two... If I chop the audience into two, I get 30K here and 16K on YouTube. I did think that I thought that it would be like two totally separate audiences. I'm sure there's some people on YouTube that are watching that otherwise wouldn't. But it's clear to me that it actually takes away from my audience here. And because of the top-heavy nature, of Twitch streaming in general, when you have 30K, then you have less of a likelihood of bringing in new viewers than if you do 40K. Like, the way it works is, like, if you're at the top of the directory, you get even more new viewers to funnel in. Having overall more viewership doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. That's still more total viewers. You're dork. You're objectively wrong. No. I'll be honest with you. The reason why I'm still doing it on YouTube right now is because it's actually really beneficial for the YouTube page in general. Also, speaking of YouTube, look at this video that got absolutely shadow banned. Holy shit. $19,000 views, dude. That's crazy. Also, YouTube watchers, like the stream, please. You must like the stream. Don't forget to like the stream. I got to keep reminding myself. Don't forget to subscribe. YouTube has brutal copyright restrictions. You stream a lot of videos that would get instantly nuked on YouTube. No, I haven't had major issues with that, so you're wrong on that front. I thought I would have a lot more. I thought I would have a lot more issues with YouTube streaming in general on the copyright side, but no, it's been pretty good. Knock on wood. Yeah, YouTube watchers, smash that bell button. I'd say give it a month before determining any trends. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, smash that bell button, subscribe, so you are instantly notified. And also, once again, like the YouTube stream, so it gets better placement on the algorithm. I think the vast majority of YouTube watchers are people who watch the Twitch stream and are just using YouTube for the convenience. The first day made it seem like more, but that was a post-ban stream, which always hits crazy numbers. Yeah, I think so too. You were always a 30K Andy? No, these past couple of weeks I was a 30 to 40K Andy. Now I'm a 20 to 30K Andy. So you're wrong. Featured heavily in this? What is this thing? Why not schedule the YouTube streams? I do schedule them. All right, let's continue.
Tariffs, and a lot of tariffs are, just so you understand, making our country.
Yeah, we hit 40K regularly for this past month. And now that I'm on YouTube, I think God, all right, this doesn't matter, but there's probably around like 6-7K YouTube watchers, like organically watching on just YouTube that would normally not watch me otherwise. But I think around like 10,000 of those viewers on the 16K to 20K YouTube watchers are watching on YouTube out of pure sheer convenience. And that those 10K would probably be here right now. But like I said, I'm going to continue experimenting. And the reason why I'm going to continue experimenting is because it actually has been helpful in beefing up all of the other numbers as well.
Rich. Our country has taken in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, really trillions, because the threat of tariffs is getting all of these countries to lose to us. Yeah. And by the way, they've been doing it to us for 40 years. And now, but I'm doing it very judiciously, very fairly, but tariffs are bringing in tremendous amounts of money. I just gave $12 billion to our farmers because they were mistreated by certain countries. Yeah. Tariff money. We're taking in hundreds of billions.
No, and I want to ask you about that. I want to get into that. Talking about the economy, you've brought a lot of prices down, as we said. Some are still stubborn.
Very few.
But when you, very few. I get it. Yeah. When you talk to Americans, though, do you have to get them to understand that the prices are not going to come back down to your first term because we had a pandemic and we had record inflation? Are people's expectations too high, or is it just too expensive to live in America?
I just, again, don't think we're selling it properly. We've done a great job.
But it's expensive out there.
You saw gasoline this last week at $1.99 a gallon. It used to be, it was $4.50, $5 a gallon. $1.99 a gallon gasoline. I think we've really bring it. I mean, I don't expect them to be much higher. Now, there's a natural inflation.
But they're never going to go down to that first term.
I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. It was through the roof. Now, you will say it wasn't in history, it was 48 years. You know, there's a theory that was, I say it was the worst. But whether it's 48 years, I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and now we have almost no inflation. Think of it. You know what it was for the last 3 months? 1.2%. You know what it was under Biden? You can't count that high. Yeah. I inherited the worst inflation. I inherited the worst crime. I inherited high prices. So when I inherited
inflation is down 2.7 right now, but it is down.
No. For the last three, don't forget, I inherited this mess. For the last 3 months, it's at 1.2%. You know that? Yeah.
For the last,
last 3 months.
You floated the idea of $2,000 rebate checks for Americans from tariff revenue. Who's going to get that? And when is...
You can't give... Dude, you can't lose a war of attrition to a guy who shits in his diapers, okay? Under no circumstances can a 90-year-old dementia patient is out yapping you, okay? You're young, you're virile. What the hell is going on? He just keeps going, yeah. He said, yeah, basically. This is the most like Asmongold adjacent interview I've ever fucking seen. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this guy, but my expectation is Trump does these things very rarely, right? It's very rare that Trump does these things at all. So if you have the unique opportunity to sit in front of Donald Trump, spice him up a little bit. Inflation has gone up at unprecedented speeds under Trump. Google Sonic inflation for more info. What? Oh, okay.
Is that going to happen?
We'd make it, I'm looking at it very seriously. I'm the only one can do it because I'm taking in hundreds of billions of dollars of money.
But you can promise some Americans will get those checks?
Oh, yeah, sure. I can do that. I haven't made the commitment yet, but I may make the commitment.
So it's not
well, I just gave 1776, right? Yeah. To the military. Right? $1,776.
But you said all
Americans. You know, it was
$1775.
They presented it to me because that's what we have in a budget that I created because I want to take care of our military. Nobody takes care of the military like I do. Yeah. So $1,775. And I said, wait a minute, if you had $1, it's $1776. You know, that's quite a famous date.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, so I
You know that's quite a famous date, right? Brother, you are literally, you have the child brain. You have the brain of a child. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's quite a famous date. He's like, he wants the interviewer to be impressed that he knows the date of U.S. independence, like the birthday of America. Okay, what is the like why should this be impressive for you to know? You are the president. Come on, you know it. Yeah, many people don't even know this, but I know it, right? I mean, 1776. What happened that year? Nobody knows. Only I know. Isn't that impressive? I mean, this is basically the same energy. This has the exact same energy of Donald Trump doing women man camera TV. Okay, like, oh, I aced my mental faculties test. Okay, I killed it. I did so well. Doctor said no one's brain is as impressive.
1,776 to our military, and they are very thankful.
Let's get to the Fed.
And now I may be doing that with regard to the entire population.
Okay. Let's get to the Fed. Is there any doubt in your mind that interest rates are going to be lowered?
Not much.
Why? How can you say that?
I just think they're going to be lowered. I mean, they should.
Is your new Fed pick on board with that?
We're way high. Okay, we're way high in interest. We have now, with me and with all the money, I've always been good at money. And with all the money coming into our country, we're a rich country again. We have debt, but we also have growth. And the growth will soon make the debt look very small. Because it's the greatest way, you have two ways. You can cut, and we do that anyway, and we did that. You know, we got rid of hundreds of thousands of federal workers. Yeah. And those workers went out and got themselves jobs in the free enterprise system. And you know what that's called?
This is all of this is a lie, by the way. Why is that even good? That's not even a good thing. Yeah, they're getting rich. All of these public workers, they're getting rich. Yeah, no, they're jobless, dumbass.
Making America great again.
The job market is ass cheeks. I cannot believe that he's saying the job market is great. How do people not get more mad at this? Oh my God. Like, yeah, Uber drivers, they're doing Uber now. Free enterprise is so fantastic.
We had 10 workers in the federal government for every single job. When the Democrats go in, they hire. I could right now give you the best employment numbers in history. You know what I do? Go out and hire 2 million people, put them in the federal government.
Does your new Fed pick?
I do the opposite.
Yeah. Does your new Fed pick?
Yeah, no, do that, you idiot. Please. January layoffs surged to 17-year high. U.S. employers announcing 108,435 layoffs in January, up 205% from December, and the highest January total since 2009. Oh, my God. If you give more taxes to corporations, those companies will create more jobs. The lie politicians who are funded by corporations tell people to justify giving their corporate donors more tax cuts. Trump's corporate and billionaire tax cuts create profits, not jobs. The job market is as bad as 2000. Oh, God, I feel so bad for people who are just graduating. God damn it, dude. I mean, things have not been good since 2008. Like, things have not been good since 2008 at all in the job market. There have been, like, minor upticks. There have been, like, you know, instances of positive growth, but the overall trend is consistently going down. It's unbelievable that these guys have the audacity to go on television to be like, nah, you don't understand. America's so hot right now. It is so ass out there, man. It is so ass out there. If you have a job, you want to know how I know it's ass out there? Because there are those who have jobs in this chat, and I'm sure they will tell you. Okay, and I know this from my job having friends, obviously not myself, because I'm in a unique position. I'm in literally the luckiest subcategory of Americans, and my entire argument is like, it shouldn't have to be this way. Like, you shouldn't win the lottery every single day in order to have a happy life. But for job havers out there, you know the market is bad. Because one, sometimes you entertain it. Sometimes you look around to see if there is any sort of horizontal movement that you can make. And you immediately realize there is no options out there. And on top of that, because the job market is so ass cheeks that your boss does not feel the need to compensate you better year over year. And this is part of the reason why inflation consistently outpaces wage growth. Maybe not across the entire economy, but in many sectors, people will get like a marginal increase in their wages year over year, but those marginal increases in wages are oftentimes destroyed by the increase in overall cost of goods. If the job market was better and you had a bunch of different opportunities for upwards mobility, for different sectors that you could move into or stay in the same sector and get a better position in a different company, your bosses would have to retain your bosses would basically do more to retain you at the same workplace. Okay, they would have to be more competitive. They would have to increase they would have to decrease their profit margins and increase your salary, giving you more of your own output. They don't feel the need to do so because you have no other options and they know it.
Understand that you want him to lower interest rates?
Oh, I think he does, but I think he wants to anyway. I mean, if he came in and said, I want to raise them,
if he said that, he wouldn't have gotten the job.
He would not have gotten the job, no.
Okay.
No. If I thought he was a interest rate, now there'll be times if I see inflation on the horizon, but we don't have that. We have low inflation. Remember, 1.2% inflation in the last 3 months. We have.
I legitimately picked the worst time to jump into freelance video editing in 2022. I've been actively applying for full-time jobs since April of last year. 900 plus job applications sent, not a single interview, even for stupid shit like retail or Whole Foods. I've had an easier time getting a job in 2009, fresh out of high school. I've never been more cooked. Yeah. I'm in tech, and I knew it was bad when recruiters aren't reaching out at all anymore. Graduated in 2023, and it was already shit, says a YouTube chatter. It's so crazy that these guys straight up look at the current job market, look at the current economy, and have the audacity to say it's awesome. I guess for Trump, the reason why he's saying that is because he knows a lot of rich. Okay? The only people that are doing well in the current economy are Donald Trump's butt buddies, people who are on the Epstein list. Like, but what do you mean things are going so well for all of my best friends? Now, of course, not one of them, Jeffrey. I lost them. We lost a good man in 2019. Believe it. But everybody else, they're doing so well. They're doing so well.
Low inflation, and we have tremendous growth. You haven't had these numbers like this. We have, think of it, low inflation, great growth. All I have to do is one thing, easy, get down the interest rate.
Do you think the Fed chair answers to you or is an independent body?
Well, I mean, in theory, it's an independent body, but I think, I'm a smart guy. I know the economy better than almost everybody.
So he answers to you.
They did that prediction chart a year ago, and they had 71 great economists and me making the predictions. And, only two people were right, me and one other guy who is a very smart professor from a certain school that I went to. Very good school. And the two of us were right. Everybody else was wrong.
There's been bipartisan suggestions that the criminal investigation to the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, is payback, right? For not lowering interest rates, but also for when he was in that sort of news conference with you with the hard hats and he was shaking his head and showing you the papers and disagreeing with you in public. Is that why he's under criminal investigation?
He was very respectful to me. He wasn't he was explaining to me. I'm asking him, why are you spending almost $4 billion on a very small little complex of buildings? It's the highest price per square foot. He's renovating buildings for $3 to $4 billion. And this Fed chair that I have I think is going to be great. He might not have a home because this guy has spent so much money. And I looked, it's a see-through. There's nothing inside. They are spending money. He's in charge of the project. This is the Federal Reserve building I'm talking about. It's a very small little, it's actually a couple of little buildings. They're spending more money than any building ever built in history per square foot.
Some Republican senators say they're not going to approve him unless you drop that investigation.
A lot of people say a lot of things.
You don't think that's true? You think?
I don't know.
Is it worth it to drop the investigation to get your Fed chair through?
I think the investigation is the investigation. It's being handled by Pam and Janine and the people. They'll make their own decision on it.
Let's talk about
He hates
AI.
this shit.
Have you ever used?
But I do
Oh my God.
say this
Yes.
about
Yeah.
you can't let a man spend billions of dollars doing a bill. I would have done that job for $25 million, and it would have been done much better.
Right.
They're spending billions of dollars on a renovation of a little
Yeah.
complex.
Let's talk about AI. Have you ever used ChatGPT or Claude?
I haven't really, but I know all about it. Let me just talk about AI.
Yeah.
AI is a big deal. AI is going to be maybe the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, bigger than anything else. We are leading China by a lot. We are leading everybody by a lot. They're all building their factories here. And you know what I did for the electric? Because they need twice the electric as we currently produce for the whole country, which is crazy. Nobody can do that. But so what I did is I came up with a concept. Each building that is built is going to generate their own electricity. They're going to build their own electric plant. We are building numbers of AI. And by the way, also auto plants.
I love having this conversation so close in proximity to the previous ridiculous thing that he was saying, which is the job market is great. Everyone's got jobs. We fired all of the good jobs, the good government jobs, right? But the job market is great. Also, we are unleashing a wave of AI in our data centers, which is the only area that we are spending money on. This government is only spending money on building data centers, so the remainder of the job market, the remainder of the labor force is also displaced. Luckily, of course, for all of you that still have jobs, the only reason why you haven't lost it is because the tech sector is led by charlatans who are routinely overpromising and under-delivering. One of the examples that I love using, or I will continue using now, is Waymo. Did you guys see the the Senate hearing that took place, the congressional hearing that took place on Waymo, where the dude basically admitted that they got like in the Philippines driving the cars around? Fantastic stuff. The only reason why your jobs are not being replaced by AI is because the AI tech is just not there for many of these sectors. And when pushed, these guys will just be like, yeah, okay, we got some people. Not regularly, right? Only in emergency situations. I mean, I don't know. That's what they say. I feel like that has legal ramifications. So they have to admit it, but maybe this is their hyper specific carve out. But perhaps they use a lot. Perhaps the Waymo operatives are still, maybe a little bit more hands-on than we think they are.
Everything.
Right.
We're building everything. But do you know, I just left Michigan. I was with Ford. They were going to close this building that was built in the early 1900s, one of the biggest factories. They were going to close it. It was scheduled to close prior to my election. After I won the election, they said, let's try keeping it open. They just went to 3 shifts. It's 24 hours a day. And the head of Ford, Mr. Ford, said it's the most incredible auto comeback I've ever seen.
Mr. President, let me ask you, there's no doubt you are the president who's ushering in the AI revolution, but this is happening on your watch.
Oh my God. Brother, you have to take his dick, like plop it out of your mouth before you ask that question. Okay? I mean, it's still impressive that you were able to fully form the words with his cock in your mouth, but god damn, dude. What is this glaze, brother? You are ushering in, without a doubt, the AI revolution, Mr. President.
If AI affects humanity in a negative way, is that on you? Because some of these CEOs of AI companies say we need guardrails. This could get out of control.
Oh my God. Even the fear-mongering around AI, the fear-mongering AI is yet another way to market how good the AI actually is at a time when it hasn't reached that level. Okay? Stay woke. Stay woke. They're like, bro, Mr. President, what if the bitches are too bad? Okay? What if the smoke is too loud, Mr. President? What if the steak is too juicy, the lobster too buttery, Mr. President? Get the out of here, dude. Like at most, in the near future, the highest likelihood of catastrophe that comes from AI will be displacing the existing labor force with a significantly worse tool so that all of these profit seekers, these parasitic capital owners, get to offer a substandard and oftentimes hazardous service, but they engage in tremendous cost saving. Okay? I think with the AI revolution, or what the AI devolution will look like, really, more and more people will hopefully understand that the initial Marxist analysis of capitalist economy was correct. Labor is the most malleable aspect of the productive force. Labor is the most malleable aspect of commodity production, and therefore, it's the only one that they can apply pressure on. Okay? This is the reason why these capital owners are desperately looking for new and unique measures of displacing the existing labor force. AI is incapable of producing the results of real human beings, especially for the time being. Now, that might be better in the future, right? For the time being, for the next decade or so, I don't think we're gonna see massive leaps. It's not my Zin that fell, it was my phone. Okay? So the conversation around catastrophe, imminent disaster, should revolve around AI's displationary mechanism, not displationary of the existing labor force, not around AI being too smart and then like killing people or some shit. It's also going to be counterproductive for capital. Varoufakis wrote about this, but he's not alone. As the workforce is displaced, people do not have the income to purchase the goods and services they used to create, and that means profits fall. So it's another collective action problem. Yeah, no, exactly. Of course. Of course. Massive cope, brother. Hasan is right. Bad take. AI is a huge threat. False. No, it's legit to fear it. Hasan is right in some things, but not this. No, I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Do I think that like AGI would be devastating for mankind? Absolutely, if AGI actually existed. I'm saying in the next 10-year runway, I don't predict that we will reach AGI. I don't think that we will have true artificial intelligence. What we will have instead is artificial intelligence capable of duping human beings into falsely believing that it's truly artificial intelligence. It's already happening all the time. Plenty of normies fall for bait with regular frequency. Like they'll be like, oh my God, we put a bunch of AI in a social media platform and they gain sentience. And it's basically just the guy directing the AI to convince other people who are reading to believe that it has sentience. And then everybody goes, oh my God, it has sentience, I think. That's literally what this is right now. Okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, it's not like AI gaining real sentience. It's just the people that are doing the inputs, making it seem like, making you feel like it has sentience, and then people get scared by it. Like it's kind of like if you were to type into ChatGPT, like, convince me that you're a human being capable of your own thoughts, and then ChatGPT convinces you, and you go, oh my God, what the hell is going on? No, what you plug in is what you get. It's the Turing test and the people are failing it instead. Yeah. This is also part of the reason why I keep repeating. I'm more worried about humans using it in more and more messed up ways. It keeps getting stronger. Next 5 years is scary as... Oh, okay. If you're talking about generative AI being used to like... if you're talking about like generative AI being used to like dupe people, manipulate people, yeah, I do agree. I think it's making people dumber in general. There's a lot of cognitive offloading taking place. But outside of the cognitive offloading that's taking place that I think is genuinely making people dumber and dumber year over year, there's also the capacity to dupe the now dumber population with, simple trickery. I do agree with that. But what he's saying, what the tech leaders are talking about is like how terrifying AI will be once it reaches like true sentience as an independent thing. We need to have safeguards around AI. We need to have the ethics around AI. That's fine. That's fine. I think we should have a conversation around the ethics of AI. But we should be honest about the limitations of AI technology, at least in the next decade or so. But unfortunately, because of the for-profit, like the profit-seeking incentive of all of these companies that are trying to sell their product and trying to justify the trillions of dollars of investment that they're getting from both the federal government and from anyone that's dumb enough to give them billions of dollars, most of the conversation or most of the fear mongering around this issue is actually another marketing technique to make the average Joe feel as though AI is a lot closer to full sentience than it actually is. That's simply what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that like mass adoption of AI won't lead to like different disasters. I'm saying that the actual disaster that's imminent is very different than the one these guys are talking about, because the one these guys are talking about favor the tech CEOs generating tremendous amounts of fundraising, tremendous amounts of capital.
Does that worry you?
Everything's on me as president. You know, everything's on me. I can say this: it'll be the greatest jobs producer. It'll be the greatest military producer. It'll be the greatest medical producer. There'll be tremendous good, and there'll be probably some bad too.
Well, it's killing a lot of jobs. And what do you say to Americans who are going to lose their jobs to AI?
It's going to create a lot of jobs.
But right now, it's taking jobs in a lot of ways. It's taking jobs at companies like Amazon. What would you say to those Americans?
But it hasn't really started. You know, these major plants haven't even been built. What you're going to
but Mr. President, AI has already started to take jobs because the technology's there.
So we have, it's just announced, more jobs right now occupied in the United States of America than at any time during its existence, 250 years. There are more people working today than at any time in the history of our country. Pretty good stat. That kills that question.
Yeah, we have to look it up.
That's a good answer. That kills that question.
Mr. President, there's widespread concern that AI is going to wipe out a lot of jobs, manufacturing jobs.
They said the internet was going to do, everything was going to do, robots are going to kill jobs, everything's going to kill jobs, and you end up, if you're smart, doing great.
Okay, you are close with the Ellisons, who are trying to stop a merger between Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Netflix. This deal could change the makeup of the media as we know it. Are you personally going to get involved in that deal?
I haven't been involved. I must say, I guess I'm considered to be a very strong president. I've been called by both sides. It's the two sides. But I've decided I shouldn't be involved. The Justice Department will handle it.
Okay. In what way? Just looking at it to see if it's
regular? They're going to make a decision. I mean, there's a theory that one of the companies is too big and it shouldn't be allowed to do it, and the other company is saying something else about, you know, they're knocking the hell out of each other.
But you're not going to interfere, even though you're close with the Ellisons.
They're beating the hell out of each other, and there'll be a winner.
Okay, let's talk about the midterms. You've recently suggested nationalizing elections. What do you mean by that?
And I didn't say national. I said...
Oh, yeah. This is my theory as well. It's one that I talk about quite a bit. I'm still convinced by the primary function of AI is to shift liability to an unblameable entity like Grok just started making CSAM all by itself. Exactly. That's why it's most commonly used in places like that, whether it be Israel's targeting system, so they can just go, well, it was just the AI targeting. It wasn't human beings targeting the people that we were killing on the kill list. The kill list was populated by the AI. Or it's best used by United Healthcare, for example, when they are denying coverage to people that desperately need it. That way, it's not a human being, because a human being is, one, not fast enough to process that many requests, and two, a human being might accidentally feel empathy and go beyond the parameters dictated by the company that want to max out on the profits. See what I mean?
There are some areas in our country that are extremely corrupt. They have very corrupt elections. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Philadelphia. Take a look at Atlanta. There are some areas that are unbelievably corrupt. I could give you plenty more, too. I say that we cannot have corrupt elections. If we have to, if they don't straighten it out. As an example, voter ID. Why don't the Democrats want voter ID? You know who does want voter ID? Democrat voters want it, but Democrat politicians don't. Why don't they want it? Because they want to cheat on elections. Can you imagine if I were a politician and they asked me, do you want voter identification? And I said, no, there's no way you could win that debate. But even the Democrats don't want voter ID. If they don't want voter ID, that means they want to cheat. We can't allow cheating in elections. Now, if we need to put in federal controls as opposed to state controls, remember this, they're really an agent. They're really accumulating the votes for who wins an election. If they can't do it honestly and it can't be done properly and timely, then something else has to happen.
Will you trust the results of the midterms if Republicans lose control of Congress?
I will, if the elections are honest. Look, I want the last one that wants to complain. I just had a great election. They say one of the greatest elections, you will agree, ever. Won all 7 swing states. Won 84% of the counties in America. That's why the map is all red. We just had a great election. I believe there was cheating. I think there was cheating.
Well, speaking of counties, what are you doing in Fulton County?
It was too big to rig.
Speaking of counties, what is happening in Fulton County?
I'm not doing anything, but the FBI went in because it's been under I guess, review for years. The cheating that took place in Fulton County and in that particular
Nobody knows what's in the warrant. What are they looking for?
Find out. Look, why would anybody be upset that they went in and they got the ballots, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Again, they did this. That's been under review and under investigation for 4 years. And now they got a court order. You know, they got a court order signed by
but nobody knows what
a
the evidence
respected but liberal
yeah.
judge signed a court order allowing them to go in and pick them up. Well, you're going to know what the ballots say because they're right now inspecting the ballot. I'm not involved in it, but they are inspecting and checking the ballot.
Why is Tulsi Gabbard there?
I don't know, but you know, a lot of the cheating comes from it's international cheating. You have people, they say, from China trying to.
You put this on
let me
Truth
ask you,
Social.
do you think?
Just wait. In the next 5 years or so, if we ever even move back into the renewable energy sector, which doesn't seem like we will, or EVs at all, which again doesn't seem like we will, you will see America do to Chinese manufacturing what China had done to Western IP. Okay? China has already surpassed the United States of America in not only the efficient, streamlined production capacities, but also on technological innovation in many sectors. Most of it is in the renewable side, from solar panels and other different like battery technology, but certainly on the car manufacturing side. The technology in China is now far superior to the tech coming out of the Western world. This is a fact. People can get mad at me for saying this. People can say I'm wrong, but it is just the truth. So what you will see in this upcoming decade will be Americans stripping Chinese technology for its parts, only to try to comprehend exactly how those parts were put together and trying to rebuild it in their own facilities. Okay? Of course, the Chinese development, lol, no, bro, you have to know how to read to do that. By then, it's not going to be a thing in America. Okay, that's funny. It's ironic because we talk about automation in the production side and the utilization of AI in the production side. And China is also at the top of the game when it comes to developing robots too. Robotic tools on the assembly line are still going to come from China. That's already what Canada is doing. China legally requires foreign companies to enter into joint ventures with Chinese companies that allow them to learn from and reproduce from, at the time, superior Western manufacturing. With the New Deal in Canada, Canada is doing the same, putting Chinese in joint ventures with Canadian. Yes. So even when these guys talk about bringing in foreign capital into the country, which will show economic activity, but it won't actually lead to a healthier labor pool with good paying jobs, because they openly state that they will do automation in those factories. So the number of job opportunities would be significantly limited to what a foreign investment-backed factory would look like in the past. And even those robots that will take the role of the regular assembly line worker will be made in fucking China. Okay?
I think China tries to influence our election.
We know that foreign governments try to influence a lot of things in this country.
Therefore, she's foreign governments.
But she's tweeted out some theories about Italians and satellites. I mean, do you believe that stuff?
No, I didn't cheat. I sometimes will read truth.
Yeah.
I'll read truth.
Okay.
But let me ask you this. If China or any of these countries are involved in our elections, that would bring her into it. And everybody knows that Russia, they talked about Russia. It turned out to be a hoax. It was Hunter Biden. It wasn't Russia. Look, we have to have honest elections.
Yeah.
There should be nothing wrong with the fact that they went in got ballots from a while ago, and they're going to look at them. And now they're going to find out the true winner of that state.
Yeah.
And you know what? If there was cheating, which there was, but if there was cheating, it should be found, because we can't let it happen again.
Mr. President, I have a few more important questions for you, if that's okay with you. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, they've all been important.
Let's go to, there's a new lawsuit by you and your family that you're suing the IRS for $10.5 billion for leaking your tax documents. Yeah. Is this a good use of taxpayer money?
You can't leak documents. And any money that I win, I'll give it to charity, 100% to charity. Charities that will be approved by government or whatever. I have another lawsuit with the United States. I sued because they broke into Mar-a-Lago.
But that's taxpayer money. It's going to get taken out of the system. I know it's going to charity, you're going to say.
And I've won that case. I mean, they broke in, the FBI illegally, Biden and his group. It wasn't Biden. He didn't know what he was doing. It was a group of very smart radical left people. They're very smart. They've lost their way.
Right.
And they broke into Mar-a-Lago. They broke into my home. They went through
they had warrants.
My wife's drawers. Yeah. They went through, that's a double meaning. They went through Barron's, my son's, everything. They went through the whole house. Hundreds of people. They went in with guns. They went in, guns.
How would
would have been ablazing.
So how would this work?
Wait. I brought a lawsuit. Essentially, the lawsuit's been won. I guess I won a lot of money.
How would this work, though? Scott Bessent's the head of the IRS.
YouTube chatters, don't forget to like the YouTube stream, okay? And subscribe and hit the bell to be properly notified when I go live on YouTube. This will help me continue live streaming on YouTube as well. And if you like the stream, it will allow me to get better placement in the algorithm on YouTube.
Pam Bonnie's the head of the Justice Department. They're going to defend the IRS against you. You're their boss.
Well, there's never been anything like it, in all fairness.
So are you going to tell them to pay you?
Don't forget, I sued as a private citizen because I sued between terms. I won 3 times. I won 3 times, but I didn't assume, unfortunately for this country, I didn't assume office the second time. But here's the story. I sued because they broke into Mar-a-Lago. That was before I became president. Now it goes along, and it turned out that the suit is a very strong suit.
You're going to tell them to pay you, though? You're the boss.
Well, what I would do, tell them to pay me, but I'll give 100% of the money to charity. I don't want any of the money.
You take it out of the system. A couple more questions here.
No, I'm putting it back into the system.
Yeah.
If I give money to American Cancer Society, I will give 100% of the money away to charity. I don't want any of it.
$30 trillion debt, and we're going to take $10 billion out of the system?
Well, I mean, you give it away anyway.
Yeah, there's no argument here. This is like petty, vindictive, silly. And given that the courts have been very pliant to Trump's needs, especially in like the idiotic defamation cases and shit like that, I don't know. I mean, I can see this. I can see them also ruling in his favor. It's so crazy. Like, look, I'm not a party loyalist by any metric, right? But I cannot believe that the courts would treat a Democrat doing the same thing in the same way. There is just no world where a Democrat would be able to get away with like a fraction of the shit Trump does on a daily basis. What if Biden sued the IRS? What's the problem? Are you kidding me? If Biden was the president and he sued the IRS? Are you kidding me, dude? I mean, these guys would be calling to assassinate him. Are you saying it's wasting taxpayer dollars, but they waste our tax dollars all the time? Who's they? He's wasting our tax dollars. This entire endeavor is a waste of tax dollars. Focusing any funds from the IRS legal team back to like defending themselves against the president is a ginormous waste. And no, it won't be $10 billion in direct cash that Donald Trump's foundation takes and then like distributes to the people. It'll be a $10 billion tax cut. Asman was talking about you being in Qatar earlier and he used it to try to justify slavery. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Asmongold is justifying slavery. I assume he misunderstood what I was talking about in terms of like the reforms that have taken in the kafala system in Qatar to be like, oh, well, he's justifying slavery, so I'm justifying slavery. You're making the rounds on Twitter again? If this is the thing I think, yeah. I retweeted this. I know.
Fada.
It's because she's making the rounds on Twitter again.
How dare you say it's okay to talk about an intifada?
Well, intifada simply just means revolution, and I'm an American, and in 1776,
Violent
we did
revolution.
one of those, and it was pretty good.
Cringe? Come on, man. That was based. That was not cringe at all. Oh, dude, I shouldn't have played that TikTok. Now my VOD is going to get copy striked. I forget that the only thing that can absolutely clap VODs is music. Like even a fraction, an iota of music will get the entire VOD clamped on. Ay, ay, ay. Shouldn't have done that.
They give away a lot of money.
Your endorsement
I'll
is
tell
the
you
money.
what,
Yeah.
speaking about that, Minnesota and these other states, we have massive investigations going into fraud.
Yeah.
Do you know if we captured 50% of the fraud of this country right now, we would have better than a balanced budget. And you got to mention that Minnesota, $19 billion in fraud that we know about.
Your endorsement is the most important thing in the Republican primary.
No, in any primary.
Will you endorse in the 2028 presidential primary?
I hadn't even thought of it, but probably, yeah. I mean, I'd be inclined to. I have great people. We have a great bench. We have a lot of people. But, yeah, I think so.
You've suggested that J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio would be a tough ticket to beat. Who should be at the top of that ticket?
Well, I don't want to get into this. We have 3 years to go. I don't want to, you know, I have two people that are doing a great job. I don't want to have an argument with, or I don't want to use the word fight. It wouldn't be a fight. But look, J.D. is fantastic, and Marco is fantastic.
How are they
both
different?
doing a
How are they
great
different?
job. And I do think this. It's a great question. I think that's your most interesting question.
Yeah.
I would say one is slightly more diplomatic than the other. I think they're both of very high intelligence. I mean, you know, they will do shows. They will do Joe Rogan as opposed to the opponent not doing it because they couldn't handle it. They will be able to do whatever they have to do. I think there's a difference in style. You know, you can see the style yourself, but they're both very capable. I do think this, the combination of J.D. and Marco would be very hard to be beaten, I think. But you never know in politics, right? They say, in the age of Trump, you never know.
Yeah. On January 21st, 2029, do you see any scenario where you are still president?
I don't know. It would be interesting. But wouldn't it be terrible if I agreed with, you know, if I gave you the answer that you're looking for? It would make life so much less exciting, right? It would be so much less exciting. But I only do this for one reason, make America great again. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're making America great again, greater than ever before. Our country is greater than ever before. We're a rich nation. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs from nations that took advantage of us. They thought we were stupid. They thought we were fools. They laughed at us. You know, people were laughing at us 1.5 years ago. They laughed at this country. They're not laughing anymore. They respect us. And I get along with them. They respect us.
Mr. President, I have pages and pages of questions, but they're telling me my time is up. I thank you for your time.
We'll do it again. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you.
That concludes the sit-down portion of our extended interview with the president. Right after this break, we'll show you our walk and talk in the Oval Office, where we discussed Iran, the Clintons, and the president's own health. Stay with us. We're back down with a special edition of Top Story following our exclusive sit-down interview with President Trump. We immediately continued the conversation where he showed me some of the Oval Office, but we also discussed important topics like Iran, Cuba, and his own health. Here's that conversation in its entirety.
This room had almost no pictures up.
Yeah.
And these pictures all came from the vaults.
Yeah.
And they're magnificent. I mean, I think they're magnificent and all, you know, first run, top of the line stuff, but mostly of presidents. We have a couple with Ben Franklin, but I think he qualifies, right? Ben Franklin's pretty good.
Is there any one you ever kind of hone in on where you're thinking deeply about anything, about an issue? Is there one you look at?
maybe all of them. They're so different. George Washington, and you have Jefferson, and I took Ronald Reagan in, gave me a place of honor also. Did a great job. But Honest Abe Lincoln.
Who do you have up here? I mean, these are big ones here.
That's Ulysses S. Grant, George Washington. Here we
Okay, I don't care about this.
This is such an honor, but all I know, I'm walking down, and everyone's screaming, goat, goat. I said, what are they talking about? I hope they're right. Not for me, but for the country. Because if I do a great job, that means the country is doing well.
You're building the new ballroom. We hear about this new arch you're building, the Garden of Heroes as well.
God.
You're building a lot of things that are going to cement your legacy. Are you also doing this so the country never forgets you?
No, I think we need glamour brought back to our country. We need prestige. We need beauty brought. I mean, in addition to everything else, we need strength. We need all of those things. Like I'm doing an arc, a triumphal, they call it a triumphal arc. 57 cities have arcs. We're the only major important city. Washington, D.C. should have maybe the first arc. We're doing one that will be more magnificent and larger than the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. I would say the Paris arc is probably the most
stunning.
It's incredible. We're going to do one that's going to top it.
Is it true it's going to be 250 feet to mark the anniversary?
It'll be about that, yeah. It'll be a little bit taller than the one in Paris. It'll be a little bit larger than the one in Paris.
You're doing a lot of things for the 250 anniversary. What do you want Americans to feel this July 4th?
Strength, victory, security. You have a secure country. We've done so much militarily. We have a great military. I mean, you saw Venezuela. That was the people, the general that was in charge, he lived. He said he's never seen anything like it. They were all ready.
You talked about the weapon, the discombobulator. What is that?
Discombobulator. Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
What does it do?
Let me just tell you, you know what it does? None of their equipment works. That's what it does. Everything was...
How does it...
It was my name. I'm very proud of the name. Everything was discombobulated. It was, you know, practically a shot wasn't... You know, they were ready.
Right.
And when we came...
I mean,
they couldn't do anything.
You saw this in the video. You could tell.
Tom, it discombobulated everything.
Nothing worked, even including humans.
Well, let's put it this way.
Out.
We lost no equipment in a very strong, and they're good fighters, great fighters. In a very bad environment, it was a military base, the biggest in South America. In a very, because the house was in a base in South America. In a very, very tough environment, we lost no men and we lost no equipment.
The discombobulator just knocked everything.
Well, it did something.
It did something. Did Delcy Rodriguez work with you guys before that raid?
I can't talk about that. I mean, I don't talk about.
Do you trust her?
Well, so far she's done a great job. I mean, so far she and all of the people that are working with her. Remember in Iraq, they got rid of everybody. They had no generals, they had no people, they had nobody to run the government. Turned out to be a mess, and that's where ISIS came from. You know, that's where ISIS came from. Came from the military and all the people. They formed ISIS. It was handled very badly, but this is handled very well.
Do you think the Cuban government will still be there? The current leadership will still be there by the end of your term?
Well, Cuba, now you're asking a different question. Cuba's in big trouble. Humanitarian aid is going to have to be sent there. They're in big trouble.
It's a disaster.
They got their money from Venezuela. They got their oil from Venezuela. They turned the oil into money, et cetera, and there's none of that happening anymore. They're in big trouble. We are
Do you think that government is still there, though? Do you think that government lasts?
I don't want to say that, but we are talking to Cuba.
You're talking to Cuba.
You know what? Look, we have tens of thousands of people that were forced out there here. They voted for me, 94% Cuban population, previous Cuban population. Now they're Cuban Americans. Maybe they go back. Maybe they want to go back. They're going to have that choice. But for years, they've been talking about this happening. Now it's happening. We are talking to Cuba. We want to open it up to those people that want to visit. Even, you know, I think most people, when they hear, they want to stay here. I hope that's true. I hope we're not going to lose them. But they're going to have options, and they're going to be able to go back, Tom, and see their loved ones, see their family, their friends.
Should the supreme leader in Iran be worried right now?
I would say he should be very worried, yeah. He should be. As you know, they're negotiating with us.
I know they are, but the protesters have said, you know, where are the Americans? You promised them we would have their back. Do we still have their back?
Well, we've had their back, and look, that country's a mess right now because of us. We went in, we wiped out their nuclear.
So
if I didn't take out, you know, we have peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
If I didn't take out their nuclear, think of it. If we didn't take out that nuclear, we wouldn't have peace in the Middle East because the Arab countries could have never done that. They were very, very afraid of Iran. They're not afraid of Iran anymore. We wiped out those beautiful B-2 bombers. One's right over there. Those beautiful little model. Those beautiful B-2 bombers went in and they hit their target, every single bomb, and obliterated it. And because of that, they were going to have a nuclear weapon within 1 month. Within 1 month, they were going to have a nuclear weapon. That was a big threat. That they're not going to have it anymore.
But if we obliterate it, what's the deal about? I mean, if there's no more, are they trying to restart the nuclear program?
Well, I heard that they are, and if they do, and I let them know, if they do, we're going to send them right back and do their job again.
So your understanding is they tried to restart it, and that's why you're threatening force?
They tried to go back to the site. They weren't even able to get near it. There was total obliteration. But they were thinking about starting a new site in a different part of the country.
Okay, then why is there an Iran denuclearization agreement that's supposed to take place literally starting tomorrow? If you already obliterated their nuclear sites, their capacity to enrich uranium, and also their stockpile of already enriched uranium, why is there even a denuclearization agreement that is taking place right now? I guess you already blew them up. So which is it? Did you already blow them up and you're just simply using a fake reason to go back and fight Iran? Or did you not actually blow them up and you're trying to get them to play ball? But let's be real, I think it's a bit of both. I think that they didn't actually blow up the facilities or actually take out the enriched uranium, but they are also using this as an opportunity to go back and strike Iran one more time, despite the fact that the regional leaders are begging Trump not to strike Iran. Okay? They are begging Trump not to strike Iran and destabilize the region further. I happen to believe that Israel also has different opinions on striking Iran. There are definitely a lot of people in the Israeli government that want to strike Iran, but there are very real concerns about how effectively the American naval assets will be able to protect Israel. Why would you defend Iran? What do you mean? For a million different reasons. Number one, there are civilians living there. Number two, I don't believe that turning Iran into Libya or Syria is going to be a good thing for the 90 million people that live there. Number three, I think having Iran remain stable is good for the entire region rather than a destabilized Iran that will be good only for Israel and very bad for the rest of the region. Hasan isn't allowed to not play devil's advocate. Rome wasn't built in a month. It takes time. Why don't you defend the Kurds? I do defend the Kurds. I defend the Kurds all the time. What the hell does blowing up Iran have to do with defending the Kurds? Will it be better for the Kurdish Iranians if America blows up Iran? Is that what your argument is? Because it won't. Channel 12 broadcast. The level of concern in the Israeli security establishment over Iran's missile arsenal has escalated. Tehran has increased the pace of military manufacturing to 300 missiles per month, which represents a significant leap in its offensive capabilities. The Army issued a stern warning against the U.S., stressing that this represents a red line that cannot be negotiated. These warnings reflect the need for a strategic response to counter the size of Iran's arsenal, which has become the biggest challenge to Israel's air defenses. I'm telling you right now, that 12-day war, they tried to make it seem like they made Iran back away. And it started with a very effective salvo. Israel's opening salvo exposed many weaknesses within the Iranian government. Israel's opening salvo exposed that the Iranian state boundaries had a tremendous amount of Mossad assets, okay? So much so that they had productive capabilities inside of Tehran. They were able to mass produce drones inside of Tehran. That's incredible. That's an incredible security weakness. However, the 12-day war ended with a decisive Iranian victory. Iran was able to exhaust the Israeli Iron Dome and expose it for the Teflon, or not Teflon, sorry, expose it for the fucking weak-ass bullshit that it actually was, okay? And Israel, I think, has not recovered from the spiritual backbreaking that it took from Iranian hypersonics striking targets inside of Tel Aviv. This I stand by 100%. Yeah, paper tiger dome, bubble wrap dome, tinfoil dome, whatever you want to call it. Okay?
We found out about it. I said, you do that, we're going to do very bad things to you.
Yeah. Mr. President, the ballroom over here, I want you to show it to me, because the thing you said that stood out to me, it's going to be massive, but it's got a drone-proof ceiling and it's got bulletproof windows. What does that mean?
Bulletproof windows, because, well, we're in a different time. You know, if somebody's up making a speech, we're going to have the inauguration there. We're going to probably have, I would say, definitely it's going to be large enough, but we have drone-proof ceilings.
What does that mean? What is that?
That means if a drone hits the ceiling, it bounces off. It doesn't blow up a building.
It's a fortress,
It's protection.
It's going to be a fortress.
Well, it's going to be very heavy steel.
Okay.
It's very simple. It's heavy steel.
Because of that, do you...
And by the way, the ballroom is so beautiful. It'll be the most beautiful ballroom of its kind, and it's very much in keeping with the White House.
You survived that assassination attempt that we all covered. It was terrible, 2 of them. Do you worry
We'll have drones that bounce off the ceiling.
about your safety? I mean, you think about the ball... You do?
I worry about it, but you have to put it out of your mind. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do your job.
You didn't think about it as much before. Now you think about it a lot.
Maybe it could be. I mean, you look statistically, I'm in a very dangerous job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a look at the walls, if you take a look, you know, statistically, this is a much more dangerous job than being a race car driver or riding those Broncos. You know, those bulls are tough, right? But I wouldn't want to do that. But statistically, being president is the most dangerous job there is.
We first met 10 years ago when you were running the first time. How do you feel now as you approach 80?
I feel great. I mean, physically and mentally, I feel like I did 50 years ago. It's crazy. Now, there'll be a time when I won't be able to give you that answer, but that time hasn't come, you know? I do. I think it's very important. I've done more physical.
I'll be honest with you. Trump won when he gave interviews to NBC and outlets like NBC, like mainstream media, liberal outlets. It was significantly more adversarial. This interview is basically the same as having it conducted by Sean Hannity. Like, it's pretty remarkable how far liberal media has fallen. At a time when the world needs them the most, they are dropping the ball every day.
Like physicals, just to give the report out.
Yeah.
I take cognitive physicals, so I do a cognitive mind test, okay? And a lot of people wouldn't be able to do very well. Not easy. You know, you get to those last questions. I've aced. I've done 3 of them. No other president has agreed to do them. I do them because I have no problem with it, because I'm 100%. Now, there will be a time. Still taking the aspirin?
Still taking the aspirin?
I do. I take aspirin. And I don't want to change, you know? I don't want to.
So you go against your doctor's orders. You do what you kind of feel.
You know, I've been taking aspirin for 30 years, and I don't want to change it. So, you know, they say take the smaller one. I say, well, I want that blood to be nice and thin running through my heart.
If at any point your age impacts your job, who's going to tell you that, or do you think you'll know yourself?
I think I'll know myself, yeah. I think I'll know myself. I wouldn't do an interview with you, as an example.
Yeah.
Did Biden do an interview before Super Bowl? I'm not sure. Maybe he did.
Last one, he didn't.
I mean, he wasn't capable of doing an interview. And that was things. Look, you know, I know people that are 95 years old that are sharp as a tack. Biden was a bad thing for old people. He's the worst thing that ever happened to old people, because he obviously didn't have it. And one of the things that's so depressing about the press is the press refused to report the obvious. And he did have very smart people around him, but they had a radical left culture, and they were very bad for this country. This country would not have survived 2 more years if one of them got elected.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to speak about the DOJ. I appreciate all your time and of your staff's time. They've been very, very kind.
Yeah.
Should anybody else expect the DOJ to kind of come after them like you've come over after some of your political enemies?
You remember this time?
Yeah.
I was impeached twice, 2 fake impeachments, won both of them easily. Republicans stood by me 100%, but I won both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was indicted 87 different times. And then you ask me that question.
Yeah.
So I think I'm extremely moderate, especially for what they did to me. They wanted to take me down. I said to somebody, do me a favor, add up the counts. If I lost, I won. But if I lost these cases, add up the counts and tell me how long would I have to serve in prison. You know what they came up with? 287 years. I said, I better win.
In your mind, that calculation means it's okay for the DOJ to go after your political enemies?
No, it isn't. And I could be involved. I'm the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. I could be involved, but I'm not. I don't choose to. But when they say to me, oh, you're going after people, I got indicted all of those times. It's 287.
One of my least favorite, not least favorite, like one of the biggest, one of the things that annoys me the most that this administration does, and Trump is the king at this. Republicans are always very good at it, but Trump especially is good at this, is consistently blaming liberals for doing things that these guys actually do with regular frequency. Oh, there's lawfare. You did lawfare to me, so now I have to do lawfare tenfold, while simultaneously claiming that you did lawfare and I'm not doing lawfare now. But if you accuse me of doing lawfare, it's actually for good reason. If the Democrats actually had a backbone, you would be in jail for January 6th. Okay? And that wouldn't even be lawfare. That would just be the law. I hate this shit. I hate it when Israel does it. Yes, chatters are saying it's Israel coded. It is Israel coded. It's one of the more annoying parts that this administration communicates. I can't stand it. I despise it. It's such an annoying trait. Unbelievable.
10 years in jail, they were willing to, but they asked me a question yesterday at the press conference about Clinton because of the testimony, the Epstein thing, which turned out that I have nothing to do, and they did, about Epstein. And they said, do you think it's terrible, with the subpoenas and everything, and they're disobeying the subpoenas? And I actually said, it's a shame. You have an ex-president, and you have, the president's wife and Secretary of State. And I said, it's a shame. It is a shame.
NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying, if you bring President Bill Clinton and he has to testify, we're bringing President Trump. What do you say to that?
I think they might say that, but they've already brought me. See, I've been brought. They had me indicted many, many times. Many, many times. They didn't do that to Clinton.
Do you think if the Democrats win in the midterms, at least one house of Congress, they're going to try to impeach you?
Well, I've done a great job as president. They say I've had the best first year of any president in history, and I think I have. If you look, I settled 8 wars, biggest tax cuts ever. Right now, we have more under construction with the factories, the car plant.
Yeah, that's what they say. Everyone's saying that. That's so real, man. The best first year of any president. Incredible.
They're all moving back into the country. They were stolen from us over.
Yeah, the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer, not the president. This doofus. Yeah, and the Attorney General. I mean, it's laughable to say this, but the Department of Justice is supposed to be a separate entity, not commanded by the administration at all. Very funny to say stuff like that nowadays, especially considering that the Attorney General is Trump's former defense attorney and the Deputy Attorney General is also a former Trump defense attorney. Major conflict of interest. Once again, if Democrats did some shit like that, Republicans would be losing their goddamn minds. God, I hate how weak the Democrats are. They're such cowards. They're such pussies. Oh my God, I wish they had some backbone, dude. What an embarrassment.
4-year period. They're all coming back from Germany, from Canada, from Mexico, from Japan. I think I had the greatest first year that we've
But you
had.
think they may come after you again?
Well, they'll find something. Like I did an interview with you, and because I did the interview, let's impeach him or something.
Anything out there that Americans are going to be surprised about that you're going? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they shouldn't do it. And that's one of the things. I didn't do it for that reason, but it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill
What do you like about him?
What?
I liked his behavior toward me.
I should have waited. Remember what I said earlier? I like Bill Clinton. He's my friend. His brain only forms memories from a certain period of time when he was a Democrat and he liked Bill Clinton and he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. It's happening. It's already happening. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God. Oh my God. Perhaps the funniest outcome of this entire thing is Donald Trump turning around and talking about how Bill Clinton is the best because his dementia-riddled brain can only remember memories from that period of time when he was Jeffrey Epstein's butt buddy.
I thought he got me. He understood me. You know, he was the one that said very famously that you don't want to run against Trump when there were 18 people. It was 18 people, including me.
I call him Bubba. Bubba, he's got such a long meat. I love Bubba's meat.
And he kept telling them, you don't want to run against Trump. Run against anyone. Don't run against Trump. And Hillary sort of laughed at him.
Hasan Reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.